This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hi there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter. I'm welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. Why did I do that? Anyway, on this day, August the 9th, 1988, it was official. Wayne Gretzky was out of Edmonton and now moving to Los Angeles. The story of Wayne Gretzky, how he got onto the Oilers, is weird enough as is. Wayne Gretzky was playing in the WHA, or the World Hockey Association, for the Indianapolis Racers. This was, of course, in the final year of the WHA existing, trying to screw over the NHL. So, the WHA would have problems. Indianapolis had problems. Even though Gretzky was on the team and doing well and getting a fan group, Indy was losing money left, right, and center. So the owner of the Indianapolis Racers, Nelson Skalbania, actually played a game of backgammon against the owners of Edmonton and Winnipeg. The Edmonton owner won the thing, so Skalbania got to get Gretzky. So Indy sent Gretzky to Edmonton for Peter Driscoll and Eddie Meal. So anyway, Gretzky was now an Edmonton Oiler, and once the team got to finish the WHA season in 78-79, of course they lost in the final to Winnipeg, if you must know, there was a problem. The NHL said that any WHA player whose rights were owned by an NHL team could be reclaimed. But Gretzky was 18. He wasn't drafted in the NHL. Remember, the draft age for the NHL was 19, not 18 back then. So anyway, Gretzky was protected. The Oilers were allowed to protect 2 goalies and 2 skaters. Thankfully, though, they decided to protect Gretzky and all that, meaning that Gretzky didn't have to go into the draft, and any NHL team could take it up. Edmonton lucked out because Messier was not one of the 2 protected players, skaters, and yet people were assuming that Messier was ineligible, but he was eligible, and Edmonton swooped him up in the draft. Although it took him to the 4th round. Although they took Kevin Lowe in the 1st round, so. Anyway, so Gretzky dominated the NHL in his first 10 seasons, like his seasons with the Edmonton Oilers. He almost won the Art Ross Trophy as a rookie. He lost by the fact that he tied Marcel Dionne for points, but Dionne had more goals. And worst of all, Gretzky could have been the Calder Trophy winner, but he didn't. He lost it to Ray Bourque. Why? Because he was a WHA-er, and that was kind of a major league, so he wasn't eligible for the Calder. Pathetic. But Gretzky won the Hart Trophy, so that's a good runner-up prize. So anyway, the Edmonton Oilers were huge. They were just young kids playing well and being a little bit snarky and all that. 82, they got shocked in the 1st round by the LA Kings. 83, they went to the final and got swept by the Islanders. But were shocked. The story goes when Gretzky and Messier walked past the Islanders dressing room, they were just banished and breathing heavily. They weren't celebrating the Stanley Cup. They were just grinders and all that. That was when the Edmonton Oilers needed to change their tone. And they did. They won cups in 84, 85, 87, and 88. Now, people say, would they have won the cup in 86 if it wasn't for Steve Smith's miss? Well, who knows? Maybe the Oilers might have been shocked by the Blues or the Habitants. But I doubt it. Anyway, there was a problem. Peter Pocklington had some bad investments as the owner of the Oilers. And was fearful that he had to declare bankruptcy and default on some loans. So that basically meant that he would have to get rid of Gretzky for money. And that's what happened. He felt like he had no choice. So he decided to engineer a trade with another team. Walter Gretzky knew that Wayne was about to be shipped out just a day after the playoffs ended. And the Oilers won the Stanley Cup. So anyway, Wayne Gretzky allegedly was babysitting at Alan Fick's house for a young Robin Fick when he got the phone call that he would be traded to Los Angeles. Now, the whole Los Angeles exodus thing was kind of planned because Bruce McNall liked him, and Wayne Gretzky married a Hollywood actress by the name of Janet Jones. So basically, LA would be a good fit. And LA was trying to change their image. They were decent teams. They got Marcel Dionne was the face of the Kings for many years, but he could never get to the Stanley Cup Finals or the semifinals. I don't think the Kings ever made the Stanley Cup semifinals till '93. So anyhow, Gretzky would be shipped to LA. Gretzky was told many times he could veto the trade and no questions asked, but he said he was in too deep and all that. Gretzky did insist that the Kings pick up Marty McSorley because he figured that McSorley would be a good protector and a good defenseman for the Kings. They agreed. So the trade finally happened on August 9th, 1988. The trade went this way. LA would get Wayne Gretzky, Mike Krzyzewski, and Marty McSorley from the Oilers for Jimmy Carson, Marty Chelina, and three first round picks and a lot of cash. A buttload of cash. Now, I know it's basically I'm talking about the Gretzky trade and all that. But here's the thing. Gretzky, notwithstanding, let's talk about LA, who they picked up. Mike Krzyzewski was a decent player for the Oilers and Kings. He even played for the Leafs for a little bit. Marty McSorley was one of the best LA defensemen of all time. You could say Rob Blake fits that category, but yeah, McSorley played well for the Kings and the Penguins and the Rangers, so he did okay. Sadly, though, McSorley's career would end ignominiously or whatever by putting a stick to John Brashear's head trying to challenge him to a fight. Bad move, McSorley. The Oilers picked up Jimmy Carson and Martin Chelina. Jimmy Carson was a great teenage superstar for the LA Kings. He was smart, from the state of Michigan. Jimmy Carson, Jimmy Carson was good and all that. He was kind of a little bit of a narcissist, as some NHL fans would probably say. So anyway, Carson would be traded from. Carson wouldn't last long in Edmonton. He would spend a season and a tiny bit afterwards with the Oilers. He didn't like Northern Alberta. So then the Oilers traded him to Detroit for the one of Peter Clement and Adam Graves. And Joe Murphy, too. So people forget that Adam Graves was a Detroit Red Wing, Peter Playo was a Detroit Red Wing, and Joe Murphy was a Detroit Red Wing. Sad to see. So Jimmy Carson basically was a malcontent, if you will. He did okay for Detroit, but I don't think his career really took off. Marty Chelina would actually be part of the Oilers team that won the 1990 Stanley Cup, their first and only cup without Gretzky. So Marty Chelina was good. However, Chelina's legend would not be there till 2002 when he scored the conference-winning goal for the Carolina Hurricanes against my Toronto Maple Leafs in 2002. But Chelina didn't stop there. 2004 was a magical year for him as a Flame. He scored the overtime goal to sink the Canucks in Game 7 of the first round. Of course, Vancouver was without Todd Bertuzzi because of his stupidity on trying to hurt Steve Moore. Then when Calgary took on Detroit in the second round of the playoffs, he scored the overtime goal to sink the Red Wings in Game 6. He was credited with the winning goal when the Flames took care of the Sharks in the Stanley Cup semifinals or conference finals against the Sharks. And then he nearly had a fourth series-winning goal. But, of course, the puck over the line. It was weird how ABC said it was over the line and CBC said no. Usually it's the other way around. But, yeah. The 3 first-round picks would actually turn out to be bullshit. Edmonton, I believe, traded their 89 first-round pick because Jason Miller was their first-round pick, and I remember having this card with the Devils. Their 91 first-round pick wasn't that bad, Martin Rushinsky. But Rushinsky would basically be a decent player, but he's memorably known for being part of the Patrick Waugh deal in 1995. And their other first-round pick was Nick Studahar. What the fuck? Exactly. So that was it. Of course, Gretzky, the day they announced the trade, August the 9th, had a chance to veto the trade. But as Gretzky said, he was in too deep. So he basically was crying tears of anguish. Edmonton did too. But weirdly enough, when he went to Los Angeles for their press conference the same day, he seemed to be like His smile lit up a room. That's a little bit suspicious, don't you think? So, yeah, that wasn't too good. Canada took the trade terribly. Obviously, because, Wayne Gretzky was kind of called our national export and all that. There was even an NDP House leader by the name of Nelson Rees, R-I-I-S, who actually decided, you know what, screw it. Let's make a bill to block this trade. It didn't go through. It just couldn't go through. Gretzky would help LA out in a lot of ways. In fact, LA changed their color scheme to black, white, and silver, kind of like the LA Raiders jerseys. I think that was planned before Gretzky came in. But basically, Gretzky was smiling, holding that new LA Kings jersey. Those were pretty sick, if you ask me. And I think they were a massive, massive bestseller in NHL stores everywhere. But I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you? So, the fact of the matter is that Gretzky was in Los Angeles. Every game was sold out once they found out that Gretzky was in LA. Kings fans were happy. Hollywood's elite, like Alan Fick, Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell, Charlie Carson, Arsenio Hall, Tom Hanks, they all came to games in Los Angeles. It brought a lot of Hollywood people. So, yeah, hockey went Hollywood. Now, the Kings and Oilers were bumping each other in the first round of the 89 playoffs, and Edmonton nearly sunk the Kings, saying that, hey, we don't need Gretzky, we're good on our own. But unfortunately, Gretzky helped lead the Kings to a 3-1 comeback. Pat that dick. But the Oilers did win the Stanley Cup in 1990, but mostly because of Messier's leadership and the kid line of Joe Murphy, Martin Shelena, and Adam Graves. I think Mark Lamb also had a part to play in this one. But so yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So anyway. So Gretzky was a great player. And he helped the other Kings do well. I apologize for the text thing. Someone's trying to text me. But anyway, in 1993, he did lead the Kings to the Stanley Cup Finals. To my chagrin, of course. But here's one stat I don't think Liam McGuire ever said about Gretzky's 93 run. The LA Kings, I don't know if they're the only team in NHL history to do this, but probably not. I think they are. But anyway, the LA Kings, their 4 playoff opponents, they went through the the division semis, the division finals, the conference finals, and the Stanley Cup finals. I think the 93 LA Kings are the only team in NHL history. Their 4 playoff opponents were all Canadian. They took care of Calgary, they took care of Vancouver, they took care of Toronto, and they did lose to Montreal, though, but they did play Montreal. That's a stat I think I have to talk to Liam about this. But anyway, I might be wrong. So, yeah, that's it. The others did slip off the cliff in the mid-90s. But came back. Unfortunately for some people, they think that Gretzky's move from Edmonton to LA actually opened the doors for the Southern United States. Now, there's a lot of purists, like Canadian purists, that said that moving the hockey league to the Southern United States was wrong. I mean, hey, they went to California in '67 with LA and Oakland. So, of course, that opened the door for an exodus to Southern United States. Dallas got their team after Minnesota had issues in '93. Phoenix got the Winnipeg Jets in '96. Tampa and Florida got expansion franchises in '92 and '93, respectively. Houston nearly got it. Houston almost got the Edmonton Oilers. There were rumors of that. Or even the New Jersey Devils, but no, that didn't happen. Nashville got an expansion team in '98. They almost got the Devils after the '95 Cup run. Atlanta got a franchise in 1999, but then they moved to Winnipeg in 2011, and basically the right move, a team moving from the States to Canada. And no, that's not the only time that there's been a relocation from the U.S. to Canada. That was 19. The other one was 1980 when the Atlanta Flames moved to Calgary. So hey, we got something back. You know, but the Southern United States stuff, I think it's all about Bettman. It's not about Gretzky. I mean, yeah, Gretzky kind of popularized hockey in the Southern States, but basically Bettman basically was stubborn, and he's been stubborn. The Coyotes have had issues and could have moved to Hamilton or even to Kitchener Waterloo. Pipe dream, I know, but fuck, what can you do? So yeah, so the Gretzky trade was really big in so many ways, and all that. Canada may not have liked it, but we have to roll with the punches. That's them's the breaks. Anyway, I'm Chop Diamond. I do.